The Galactic Council's emergency session erupted into chaos as the massive human warship appeared on their sensors. Alien representatives from across the galaxy stared in disbelief at the holographic display, watching as the behemoth vessel dwarfed their largest battle cruisers. Korvac, the Xindi delegate, slammed his tentacles on the council table. "This is an act of war. The humans have deceived us all." Justin Henderson, Earth's newly appointed diplomat to the Galactic Council, felt the weight of 1,000 alien eyes upon him. He stood, his heart racing, as he faced the assembly of diverse species. "Esteemed members of the Council, I assure you this is a misunderstanding. I have no knowledge of this vessel, but I will contact Earth immediately for clarification." As Justin activated his communicator, the Council chamber buzzed with frantic discussions. Species that had long dismissed humans as primitive now reassessed their stance. The ship's size alone suggested technological advancements far beyond what the Council believed possible for Earth. "Earth Command, this is Diplomat Henderson. We have a situation," Justin spoke quietly into his device. "There's an unidentified human warship in Galactic Council space. I need information, fast." The response from Earth sent a chill down Justin's spine. The UES Titan, an experimental vessel on its maiden voyage, had veered off course due to a navigational error. Its presence in Council space was unintentional, but the damage was done. Several delegates nodded in agreement, fear and anger evident in their alien features. Justin raised his hands, pleading for calm. "The ship is called the UES Titan. It's an experimental vessel testing new technologies. Its presence here is accidental, I assure you." Skepticism rippled through the assembly. The UES Titan's advanced systems were now clear on the Council's sensors, showcasing weapons and defenses unlike anything they had encountered before. Suddenly a new voice crackled through the chamber's speakers. "Galactic Council, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Titan. We apologize for our unannounced arrival. We experienced a malfunction in our new propulsion system." The alien delegates murmured in surprise at the direct communication. Justin seized the moment, working to establish a stable connection between the Council and the Titan's captain. As tensions seemed to ease, alarms blared across the chamber. The Council's long-range sensors detected multiple human ships entering the sector. The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembly. Earth, it seemed, had been quietly building a formidable space fleet. Justin stood at the center of the storm, a lone human facing a galaxy of increasingly hostile aliens. He knew that his next words and actions could determine the fate of Earth and its place in the galactic community. The balance of power was shifting, and the Galactic Council was about to learn that humanity was no longer a minor player in the cosmic game. As Justin Henderson faced the increasingly hostile alien delegates, a new holographic image materialized in the center of the Council chamber. The imposing figure of Captain Marcus Steele, commander of the UES Titan, loomed over the assembly. His weathered face and steady gaze spoke of years of experience navigating tense situations. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Steele's deep voice resonated through the chamber, "I am Captain Marcus Steele of the UES Titan. I assure you, our presence here is unintentional. We were testing a new propulsion system when we experienced an unexpected malfunction." The captain's calm demeanor seemed to have a steadying effect on some of the more agitated delegates. Steele continued, "As a gesture of goodwill, we are prepared to power down our weapon systems immediately." Korvac's eyes gleamed with satisfaction, his tentacles twitching in anticipation. Justin's gaze darted between the Xindi delegate and the holographic display, realization dawning on him. "Korvac, what have you done?" he muttered under his breath. Before anyone could react, the Titan's advanced defense systems activated automatically. A shimmering energy shield enveloped the massive human warship. The Xindi scout ship, unable to alter its course in time, collided with the shield. The impact sent the smaller vessel spiraling away, its engines sputtering and failing. Justin stepped forward, his voice steady despite the turmoil in his mind. "This is a misunderstanding. The Titan's systems were acting defensively. If the Xindi ship hadn't approached with hostile intent..." As accusations flew back and forth, Justin activated his communicator once more. Earth Command, this is Henderson. The situation has escalated. I need full disclosure on the Titan and any other ships in the sector. Now. The response he received sent a chill down his spine. The UES Titan was part of a new fleet, developed in secret. Earth's military command explained that intelligence reports had suggested a potential threat from an unknown alien force at the edge of explored space. The human government had chosen to keep this information secret to prevent panic among other species. Justin's mind raced as he processed this information. How could he explain this to the Council without further damaging Earth's credibility? Meanwhile, aboard the UES Titan, Dr. Ilara Voss hunched over her console in the science lab. The xenobiologist's eyes widened as she analyzed the data streaming in from the ship's sensors. "Captain," she called out, her voice tight with excitement and concern, "the new propulsion system is having an unforeseen effect on nearby space. It's creating micro-wormholes." Captain Steele's holographic image flickered in the council chamber as he received this information. "Council members," he announced, his voice carrying a note of urgency, "we've detected an anomaly that requires our immediate attention." As if on cue, the Council's long-range sensors lit up with multiple alerts. Swirling patterns of energy began to coalesce around the UES Titan, visible even to the naked eye through the chamber's viewports. "What are those?" demanded Commander Lyrics, the Andorian security chief of the Council station. His antennae twitched with agitation as he studied the readings. Dr. Voss's voice came through the Titan's communication channel. "They appear to be energy-based life forms, unlike anything we've encountered before. They're drawn to the unique energy signature of our propulsion system." The revelation of the Titan's advanced sensor capabilities did not go unnoticed by the Council members. Murmurs of concern rippled through the assembly as they realized the extent of human technological advancement. Suddenly, the chamber was plunged into darkness. Emergency lights flickered on as power fluctuations rippled through the station. Similar reports came in from other ships in the vicinity. "The energy beings are causing widespread disruptions," Captain Steele reported, his hologram wavering. "We're experiencing similar effects on the Titan." As the Council grappled with this new threat, a new voice joined the conversation. "This is Admiral Jahn of Earth's Fifth Fleet. We've detected the anomalies and are prepared to offer assistance." Several Council members nodded in agreement, fear of human influence overriding their concern about the immediate threat. As debate raged in the chamber, the station shuddered. Commander Lyrics stumbled, catching himself on a nearby console. "The energy beings are affecting our artificial gravity and life support systems," he reported, his usual stoic demeanor cracking under the strain. The Andorian's eyes met Justin's across the chamber. "As much as it pains me to say this," Lyrics began, his voice low but carrying in the suddenly quiet room, "we may need to consider cooperating with the humans. Their technology might be our best chance at resolving this crisis." Justin held his breath as he watched the Council members process this suggestion. The future of Earth's relationship with the galactic community hung in the balance, complicated by the revelation of their hidden fleet and the sudden appearance of a common threat. As the mysterious energy beings drew closer, alarms blared with increasing urgency. The Council found itself forced to make a decision that would shape the future of interstellar relations. With time running out and options limited, the fate of multiple species rested on their next move. As the mysterious energy beings drew closer, the chamber's emergency lights flickered ominously. Justin Henderson watched the fear and uncertainty play across the faces of the alien delegates. The fate of Earth's relationship with the galactic community hung by a thread, complicated by the revelation of their hidden fleet and the sudden appearance of this common threat. Suddenly, Dr. Ilara Voss's voice cut through the tension. "Captain Steele, I've made a breakthrough." Her excitement was palpable, even through the distorted communication channel. "The energy beings are attracted to specific frequencies emitted by our propulsion system." Captain Steele's hologram flickered as he processed this information, his weathered face set with commitment as he announced, Council members, we have a plan to draw these entities away from the station. Without waiting for the Council's approval, Steele barked orders to his crew. The UES Titan's engines roared to life, creating a massive energy surge that immediately caught the attention of the swirling entities. As the colossal ship began to move away from the station, the energy beings followed, their patterns shifting and swirling in what almost seemed like curiosity. Justin watched in awe as the Titan led the cosmic dance away from the Council station. The immediate threat diminished. He turned to face the assembly. "This is our chance to work together," he said, his voice steady and determined. "We need to prepare for any outcome." Commander Lyrix, the Andorian security chief, stepped forward. His antennae twitched as he regarded Justin with a mixture of wariness and respect. "Agreed. We should form a joint response team." Together, Justin and Lyrix began assembling a diverse group of specialists from various species. A Vulcan quantum physicist, a Tellarite engineer, and a Betazoid empath joined human experts in a makeshift command center. The air buzzed with a mix of alien languages and the beeps of unfamiliar technology as the team worked to develop countermeasures against the energy beings. Meanwhile, aboard the UES Titan, Dr. Voss and her team worked feverishly to modify the ship's communication array. The bridge was a flurry of activity, screens displaying cascading data as they attempted to establish contact with the entities. "Try modulating the frequency to match their energy signature," Voss called out, her fingers flying over her console. After several failed attempts, a series of pulsing lights on her screen indicated a response. "We've done it. They're communicating." Captain Steele leaned over her shoulder, his eyes widening as he watched the patterns shift and change. "What are they saying, Doctor?" Voss's face was illuminated by the glow of her screen, her expression a mix of wonder and concentration. "They're not hostile, Captain. They're curious. The energy from our engines is unlike anything they've encountered before." Back at the Council station, Justin received the news of the Titan's breakthrough with a surge of hope. However, his optimism was tempered by the sight of Korvac, the Xindi delegate, huddled with a group of supporters in the corner of the chamber. Their furtive glances and agitated gestures spoke volumes. Justin's concerns were justified. Unbeknownst to the rest of the Council, Korvac had secretly ordered a group of Xindi ships to take up attack positions. The Xindi vessels lurked at the edges of the system, weapons primed and ready to strike at both the energy beings and the human fleet. Admiral Jan's voice crackled through the station's speakers. "Council Station, this is Admiral Jan. We've detected multiple ships moving into offensive positions. We're maintaining our defensive perimeter around the station." As if to punctuate his words, Dr. Voss's voice came through the communication channel. "Captain Steele, the energy beings are attempting to interface with our systems. I believe they're trying to share information with us." The chamber fell silent as the implications of this news sank in. Captain Steele's hologram flickered to life once more, his face etched with the weight of the decision before him. "If we allow this interface, we could gain knowledge beyond our current understanding, but it could also put the Titan at risk." Justin looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of each delegate in turn. The next few moments would shape the future of galactic relations. Would they choose cooperation and the pursuit of knowledge, or give in to fear and aggression? Admiral Jan's fleet hung in space, a protective shield around the Council station. The Admiral's finger hovered over the command to power up weapons, torn between defending against potential Xindi aggression and proving humanity's peaceful intentions. On the bridge of the UES Titan, Captain Steele stood at the helm, his hand poised over the controls that would allow the energy beings to interface with their systems. Dr. Voss watched him intently, her eyes shining with the prospect of unprecedented scientific discovery. And in the Council chamber, Justin Henderson took a deep breath, preparing to make his case for trust and cooperation. The future of humanity's place in the galactic community rested on what happened next. The energy beings swirled around the Titan, their patterns becoming more intricate and focused. As the various factions teetered on the brink of decision, the universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see how this pivotal moment in galactic history would unfold. Captain Steele's hand hovered over the control panel, his eyes locked on the swirling patterns of the energy beings outside the Titan's viewports. He took a deep breath, steadying himself for what could be a monumental decision. "Dr. Voss, are the safeguards in place?" he asked, his voice steady despite the tension in his shoulders. "Yes, Captain," Dr. Voss replied, her fingers flying over her console. "We've isolated critical systems and established multiple firewalls. We're as ready as we'll ever be." Steele nodded, his mind focused. "Initiate the interface." As his finger pressed the control, the ship's lights flickered momentarily. The energy beings outside seemed to pulse in response, their patterns becoming more intricate and focused. Streams of data began flooding the Titan's computer core, causing readouts to spike across every console on the bridge. "Remarkable," Dr. Voss breathed, her eyes wide as she watched the incoming information. "Captain, we're receiving star charts of regions we've never even dreamed of exploring, and these schematics, they're beyond anything in our database." Meanwhile, aboard the council station, Justin Henderson's comm device buzzed discreetly. He stepped away from the agitated delegates to answer it, recognizing Admiral Jean's encrypted channel. "Mr. Henderson," Jean's voice came through, low and urgent. "We've detected multiple Xindi ships moving into attack positions. The situation could escalate rapidly." Justin's mind raced, processing the implications. He glanced across the chamber, catching sight of Korvac huddled with his supporters, their agitation evident in their rigid postures and furtive glances. "Understood, Admiral," Justin replied quietly. "Maintain your defensive formation. I'll handle things here." Ending the call, Justin made his way to Commander Lyrics, careful not to draw attention. He leaned in close to the Andorian, speaking in a hushed tone. "Commander, we have a situation. The Xindi are mobilizing for a potential attack." Lyrix's antenna twitched in alarm. "Are you certain?" As they spoke, the mood in the chamber began to shift. Several council members were watching the holographic displays showing the Titan's interaction with the energy beings, their expressions of fear gradually giving way to curiosity and even admiration. "The humans have achieved first contact," a Vulcan delegate observed, her tone neutral but her eyes betraying a hint of respect. "Perhaps we've been too hasty in our judgments," added a Tellarite representative, stroking his bristly beard thoughtfully. Korvac, sensing the changing tide, grew more agitated. His eyes darted around the room, settling on the weapon controls near the main console. With a sudden burst of movement, he lunged towards the panel. "We cannot allow the humans to gain this advantage," he shouted, his fingers reaching for the controls. The room erupted into chaos as Lyrix's security personnel burst through the doors, weapons drawn. Korvac's supporters moved to intercept them, resulting in a brief but intense firefight. Energy beams crisscrossed the chamber as delegates dove for cover. Justin found himself crouched behind a fallen chair, his heart pounding. He watched as Lyrix expertly coordinated his team, methodically cornering and disarming Korvac's faction. In a matter of minutes it was over. Korvac and his main supporters were restrained, their weapons confiscated. The other delegates emerged from their hiding spots, shock and disbelief etched on their faces. As the dust settled in the council chamber, a new crisis was unfolding aboard the UES Titan. The ship's systems groaned under the weight of the incoming data from the energy beings. "Captain, we're approaching critical levels," Dr. Voss reported, her voice tense. "The computer core is struggling to process this volume of information." Captain Steele's mind raced through his options, each fraught with risk. "We can't terminate the interface prematurely," he muttered. "We might lose everything." Making a split-second decision, he turned to his engineering chief. "Initiate a controlled shutdown of all non-essential systems. Divert all power to the computer core and life support." As the order was carried out, the Titan's lights dimmed and a low hum filled the air as auxiliary power kicked in. The ship hung in space, vulnerable but still connected to the energy beings. Outside, Admiral Jean watched the Titan's power signature fluctuate. His tactical display suddenly lit up with new contacts, a group of Xindi warships breaking formation and accelerating towards the Titan. All ships intercept course, Jean commanded, his voice calm but authoritative. Protect the Titan at all costs. The space around the council station erupted into a dazzling display of weapons fire as Jean's fleet engaged the Xindi attackers. The human ships, despite being outnumbered, demonstrated superior maneuverability and firepower. Aboard the Titan, oblivious to the battle raging outside, Dr. Voss let out a gasp of surprise. "Captain, look at this," she said, gesturing to her screen. The energy beings had formed a protective barrier around the Titan, absorbing the stray weapons fire that made it past Jean's defensive line. The Xindi ships, faced with this unexpected development and the formidable human fleet, began to retreat. As the Xindi threat receded, the interface between the Titan and the energy beings concluded. The ship's systems slowly came back online, consoles lighting up across the bridge. Steele leaned over her shoulder, his brow furrowing as he read the information on her screen. "Is this verified?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Captain Steele straightened, the weight of this discovery settling on his shoulders. He turned to his communications officer. "Contact the council station and Admiral Jean. We need to convene an emergency session immediately." As the Titan's findings were relayed to the council, the political landscape shifted dramatically. The delegates, still reeling from Korvac's attempted coup, now faced an even greater challenge. Admiral Jean, seeing an opportunity to solidify humanity's position, addressed the council. "In light of this new threat, I propose the formation of a joint task force. Our advanced technology, combined with the collective knowledge and resources of the council races, may be our best hope for facing this danger." The chamber buzzed with discussion as delegates considered Jean's proposal. Many who had been skeptical of humanity now saw their advanced capabilities as a vital asset. Justin Henderson, standing at the center of this diplomatic whirlwind, felt the weight of the moment. As the council began to lean towards accepting Jean's proposal, he realized that humanity's place in the galactic community had been irrevocably changed. The energy beings, their curiosity apparently satisfied, began to disperse. However, before they departed, they left behind a complex set of equations, a method to contact them again if needed. As the immediate crisis subsided, the delegates turned their attention to the monumental tasks ahead. Justin found himself approached by the council president, a solemn look on the alien's face. "Mr. Henderson," the president said, "we find ourselves at a crossroads. Your actions today have demonstrated humanity's potential as a valuable ally. We would like you to draft a framework for human integration into our galactic community." Justin nodded, understanding the enormity of the responsibility. As he began to contemplate the challenges ahead, he couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. The galaxy stood on the brink of a new era, with humanity poised to play a pivotal role. The council chamber, once a scene of conflict, now buzzed with purposeful activity. Delegates from various species huddled together, discussing strategies and sharing information. The threat of an ancient enemy had unified them in a way that seemed impossible mere hours ago. As Justin watched the cooperation unfold, he realized that this was just the beginning. The true test of this newfound alliance lay ahead, in the depths of unexplored space where an ancient threat stirred. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see how this next chapter in its history would unfold. The urgency in the air was palpable as Admiral Jean's encrypted message reached Justin Henderson. His eyes widened as he processed the information, realizing that the theoretical threat had become a stark reality. "Counselors," Justin called out, his voice cutting through the din of discussions, "we have a critical update from Earth." The chamber fell silent as Justin relayed the message. A deep space monitoring station has detected massive energy signatures consistent with the awakening ancient species described in the data from the energy beings. The threat is no longer theoretical, it's imminent. Murmurs of alarm rippled through the assembled delegates. Captain Steele and Dr. Voss, who had just arrived from the Titan, exchanged grim looks. "We need to act now," Admiral Jean declared, his holographic projection flickering slightly as he addressed the council. Every moment we delay gives this ancient enemy more time to gather strength. The Council President nodded gravely. You're right, Admiral. We must put aside our differences and face this threat together. He turned to the assembled delegates. I call for an immediate vote on the formation of a joint task force with the UES Titan as its flagship. The voting process was swift and decisive. Within minutes, the motion passed with an overwhelming majority. The council chamber erupted into a flurry of activity as delegates rushed to contact their respective governments and mobilize their forces. Captain Steele approached Justin, his expression a mix of drive and concern. We'll need to prepare the Titan for its new role. This won't be easy. Justin nodded. Nothing worth doing ever is, Captain, but we've got the best crew in the galaxy on our side. Over the next few weeks, ships from various alien races converged at a designated staging area near the detected threat. The space around the Titan buzzed with activity as vessels of all shapes and sizes took up formation. Aboard the Titan, Dr. Voss worked tirelessly with a diverse team of scientists. The ship's laboratory had become a melting pot of ideas and technologies from across the galaxy. "Pass me that Vulcan phase modulator," Dr. Voss called out to her Andorian assistant. Her fingers flew across a holographic interface, inputting complex equations. "I think we're close to a breakthrough on the shield harmonizer." As the joint fleet approached the awakening zone, tension mounted on every ship. The Titan's sensors picked up the first signs of the enemy. "Multiple contacts detected," the tactical officer announced, his voice tight. "Size and energy readings are off the charts." Through the viewscreen, the crew watched in awe and terror as the first of the ancient vessels came into view. They were massive, dwarfing even the largest ships in the Allied fleet. Their hulls seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, a blend of organic matter and advanced technology beyond anything they had ever seen. "All ships, this is Captain Steele," he broadcast to the fleet. "Engage shield harmonizers and prepare for battle." The space around the Allied ships shimmered as the new technology took effect, creating a unified defensive barrier. It was just in time, as the ancient vessels opened fire. The battle was fierce and chaotic. Energy beams and torpedoes crisscrossed space, leaving trails of superheated plasma in their wake. Ships from both sides exploded in brilliant flashes, their crews lost to the void. Despite the intensity of the enemy attack, the Allied forces held their ground. The shield harmonizer proved its worth, allowing the diverse fleet to weather the onslaught. Captain Steele's mind raced as he assessed the battle. "We need to change tactics," he muttered, studying the tactical display. Suddenly, an idea struck him. "Helm, prepare for micro-wormhole jump. Engineering, divert all available power to the drive." The Titan shuddered as its advanced propulsion system engaged. In a flash of light, the ship disappeared, only to reappear behind the enemy fleet. "All ships, this is the Titan," Steele broadcast. "We've created a series of micro-wormholes, smaller vessels. Use them to outflank the enemy and strike at their weak points." The battle shifted as Allied ships darted through the wormholes, striking at the ancient vessels from unexpected angles. Dr. Voss's analysis had identified vulnerable areas in the enemy ship's biomechanical structure, and the Allied forces exploited them mercilessly. Aboard the Galactic Council's command ship, Justin Henderson worked tirelessly to coordinate the diverse fleet. When a Xindi cruiser took heavy damage and began to drift, Justin saw an opportunity to strengthen the alliance. Justin watched with satisfaction as the Andorian ships broke formation, their phaser banks blazing as they protected the wounded Xindi vessel. It was a small moment, but one that spoke volumes about the growing trust between former adversaries. As the battle raged on, a familiar energy pattern appeared on the Titan's sensors. Dr. Voss gasped in recognition. "Captain, the energy beings are back." Sure enough, the enigmatic entities had returned. They swirled around the Allied fleet, their patterns more complex than ever before. As they integrated with the shield harmonizer, the effectiveness of the Allied defenses increased exponentially. Captain Steele saw their chance. "This is it," he announced to his crew. "All power to the main cannon, let's end this." "Fire!" A lance of pure energy erupted from the Titan, slicing through space toward the ancient command ship. It struck home with devastating effect, piercing the enemy's defenses and triggering a chain reaction deep within its core. The ancient command ship erupted in a spectacular explosion, the shockwave disabling the remaining enemy vessels. As quickly as it had begun, the battle was over. In the aftermath, the Allied fleet regrouped, assessing damage and tending to the wounded. The energy beings, their purpose apparently fulfilled, began to disperse. Before they vanished entirely, a final transmission reached the Titan. As the adrenaline of battle faded, the enormity of what they had accomplished began to sink in. The ancient threat was neutralized, though not entirely eliminated. The remaining enemy ships had retreated into uncharted space, leaving behind a galaxy forever changed by their brief but terrifying appearance. Aboard the Titan, Captain Steele allowed himself a moment of reflection. They had faced an impossible odds and emerged victorious, not through the strength of any one species, but through the combined efforts of many. As he looked out at the assembled fleet, a vibrant tapestry of designs representing dozens of cultures, he realized that this was only the beginning. The console beside him beeped, signaling an incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. Whatever came next, Steele knew that humanity's place among the stars was secure. With a deep breath, he reached out to answer the call, ready to help shape the new era that lay ahead. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.